Hey there, welcome to the Unconventional Project, brought to you by Multifamily Media Network. I'm your host, Vanessa Grayson. For the past few years, I've been navigating the multifamily industry on my own terms, embracing my authentic self. It's been a wild ride filled with triumphs and challenges, successes and imposter syndrome, doubts and shortcomings. But one thing is clear, there's no single pathway to success. The mission of the Unconventional Project is to shine a light on the thoughts and experiences of other uniquely cultivated leaders who have taken an unconventional pathway to achieve their goals. We're here to celebrate the diverse and creative minds that need to be heard, to collaborate on the joys and struggles of authentic, unique leadership, and to simply bring our whole selves to a table designed for everyone. Are you ready? It's time to embrace the unconventional.
All right. Well, welcome everyone. My name is Vanessa Grayson, and I am your podcast host for the Unconventional Project with the Multifamily Media Network. I'm so excited to be live with you today at Apartmentalize. We are on the trade show floor in the Chadwell Supply Booth. So incredible thank you to our sponsors for having us here today. But I have a very special guest. It's hard to put into words what this opportunity means for me, but I will let him introduce himself. So take it away.
Of course. Good morning. Good morning, everyone. I am Ricky McRoy. I am Senior Regional Director with Avanti Residential, so shout out to Avanti. And I am someone who has been in this industry for 22 years. It started out as a fight, but here we are today, just successful and amazing. And I'm so happy to be here to have this opportunity with you to be able to speak about any and everything, although I have no idea which direction this is going. I'm excited to be here today.
Yeah. Hence the name 22 years in the making. And I know when I originally asked you to do this, I told you I wasn't going to prepare any questions. We were going to do it off the rip. And just to make sure that we're bringing something like very authentic and genuine to the table. So I want to hear about you. Like, let's start with your journey. How did you end up in the multifamily industry?
So 22 years ago, I graduated from high school and I was actually on my way to enroll in college. I thought that I was going to be a nurse. The women in my family were nurses and they were saving lives. And I was like, yep, I'm going to join them. And I got a phone call actually from Emelina Eric with the Cordish Group, and she called me and was like, have you ever thought about leasing? And I was like, what the hell is that? And so she was like, I set this interview up with you, and it was at Max's at the time, and she was like, go to this interview. And I was hired on the spot. And then from there, just kind of took off. And so from that moment, I just realized that it was my passion to be able to do this. It was my passion to be able to help people, but my path wasn't what I thought it would be. You know, I made connections and I made friends in this industry. And so my connections and my friends, I thought would help me lead me in the direction that they were going. And I didn't get that opportunity. You know, I had these close connections where people were growing and going in the direction that I wanted to be in. But my struggle was different. You know, like I struggled in the B, in the C's, and the, I call them F sometimes, communities where, you know, I didn't experience what everybody else was experiencing. I wanted to be on the luxury side. I wanted to be where people were happy about their living and paying all this money for rent. But I feel like at times I struggled because I didn't look like what sat in their offices. So I was never given that opportunity to be able to do that.
Yeah. So with that being said, like, I know we've had this conversation prior because we share a very similar journey and pathway when it comes to that. I now operate mostly in Class A properties. Thank you. Thanks, boss. But like, I want to dive a little bit deeper into that because that comes with challenges and obstacles. Like, what were some of those challenges and obstacles? How did you overcome them?
I think for me, my focus was, there's not many boys that look like me that sit in the corporate office level. There's not many boys like me who have that opportunity to have that voice to speak. And so I was strong about what I wanted. I wanted this for myself. So I was going to do it in whatever direction I had to do it. Whether it be Class F, whether it be Class C, when I get those opportunities for B and A, like I had to make sure that whatever I did it with a purpose.
Yeah.
And that was my focus. Everything was with a purpose because I knew that there was an end goal for it for me.
Yeah. With intention.
Yes.
We're being intentional about our trajectory. And I think, again, we share like a very similar pathway, and it's challenging. It's hard. A lot of people just don't understand. So a couple years ago, I did the session in San Diego, Your Next Leader Looks Like Me. And even then, I believed what I said, but coming out of that, we got like a little bit of pushback and a little bit of backlash about some of the topics that we spoke about, just because we're not hitting on them as much as we should.
Of course. Even yesterday, like when we were passing through the walkway, and people were reading my badge and they would see it said senior regional director, and they would stop me to have a conversation like, wow, you're a regional director. Not only are you a regional director, you're a senior. This is amazing. And it was shocking to me because it let me know that people still don't know that people like us can do this, you know? So that was even more motivational for me, or more uplifting, to be able to keep going down my direction and my path, because I plan to be somebody's president. I plan to be somebody's CEO, and I'm not stopping until I get that.
I knew this would happen. Representation matters, and it's a very like intimate conversation that I've had with you, just when it comes to our pathway and where we're at.
I knew you were going to do this.
It's hard. So for those of you that are listening, Ricky and I had the opportunity to sit on a panel back home in Kansas City. Whoop, whoop. We put together a panel of all minority representation. It has never been done in 49 years. 49 years that the AAKC has been put together. I had the honor and privilege to moderate such a genuine and authentic and raw conversation, and I literally still get chills thinking about it. So I want to talk to you about that experience, because if you were in the room, first of all, you were crying. Second of all, there was just, you also had the chills. It was like a whole outer body experience to experience what happened. So I want you to talk through that with us. Like, how was that for you to be able to share something so important and be so vulnerable in that moment?
I think for me, it was extremely important. Like I said, we don't get these platforms. We don't get these opportunities. We are the less in this industry. And so for me, when I got the phone call, I think I was more so nervous than anything, because I was like, what will I say? What will I do? How will I talk? Like,
how will it be received?
Yes, correct.
Yes.
We are so judged by everything that we do, that the littlest things that we do wrong, it's highlighted for us. And so for me, it was, how do I make this a positive moment so that people understand that my journey was a struggle, but it's been successful. And so it was so rewarding for me, like, because
Here they brought us sandpaper.
Oh my God. It was so rewarding for me, because being a Black boy in this industry it's not rewarding at times. And we fight a different fight. We fight a different fight at times, and we don't get the same opportunities that are presented to us. So for me, I wanted that moment. I wanted that moment to be me. I wanted that moment to be authentic. And I wanted that moment to be able to share with people exactly how and who I was and what I've been through. And it was so rewarding for me to just be able to talk and see people hear my story, but to see the tears shed, to know that you kind of get what I've been through, and just a small snippet of what it was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's the relatability component. And even though you experience it at a different capacity, there were so many people in the room that felt that, whether it was like 5%, 10%, but to know that your experience, you know, was magnified and amplified to the measure that it was, like, we felt that. And I just want to let you know, we heard you and we love you and we support you. And there, for me, it's opportunities like this to be able to share you with the world. I know I've dragged you around all week, made you meet every individual that wanted to see me. But what was so cool for me is to know that your light is shining in the manner that it is, because my own brother, Eddie Prez, came up to me. He's like, yeah, I haven't seen you in a year, whatever. Where's your boss? And I was like, okay, hey. But for me, like, that is the win in this. That is the point of the Unconventional Project, because I know that, you know, I've struggled so much back home, just feeling like no matter what I do, it's not enough. And I think some of that is self-inflicted, but then some of that is just outside influence of just not feeling like I could do whatever. My name can be on every national recognition, everything, and it is still not enough. And I'm so accustomed to having to be working 2 times, 3 times, 4 times harder than everyone else in the room.
Correct. Yes.
And I know that that's something that we relate on heavily. So in that moment and even this moment now, just to give you the opportunity to be who you are, like, it makes my heart so happy, and to like look around at everyone outside this booth, to be able to support you and your journey. Like, my heart is just so full. You're a mess. So let's talk about leadership a little bit, because something that a lot of people may not know is you lead one of the most diverse and dynamic teams in the Kansas City area, not just visibly, but you hired us for the way that we think and the way that we feel.
Yes.
And it changes how we produce. So I want to talk about your team back home, because I know
Oh.
that they're going to be mad if you don't talk about them. First of all, give them the spotlight. It's not always about you.
Oh my God. So, I'm going to cry again. My team back home is absolutely amazing. And so, when I stepped into this role, my thought was, what did I experience as a leader? Because I don't want to give that to my team. I want to be completely different 360. And so when you guys call me with a crisis, or you guys call me with a problem, I don't answer you right away, because I want you to have the moment to think about it. I want you to have the opportunity to say, what will you do without me? If you were in my seat, how would you handle this? And me not answering you right away gives you a moment to think about how this works for you and what would you do. So when I call you back 5-10 minutes later, you're like, I got a handle. And I'm like, let's talk about it. And then you're like, I did this and this and this. And I'm like, that was perfect. That's exactly what I would have done. Or you did it great, but here's some things I would have added to it, or here's some things I would have done differently. And I give them that opportunity to be leaders. You hired these people to run these multi-million-dollar assets. Why are we babysitting them? They're gonna mess up, and that's okay. Everybody makes mistakes, but how do we come from the mistakes? If I'm not there to lead you and guide you through this, then I'm not a leader. I don't want to be a dictator in your day-to-day services. I want to be the one that provides the knowledge that you may need. Some of you guys are way smarter than me. I will give you that. Some of you guys
heard it here first, Kansas City team.
Some of you guys are like way smarter than me. And then I'll get you on the phone and I'll be like, you didn't even need me for this. But I don't say that, but I think that when we communicate and we hang up, because I'm like, they don't even need me half the time, because they're so strong and great at what they do. It's my job to empower you, to encourage you, to know that you've got this and you know exactly what you're doing. And you don't really need me. I'm just here for support. I'm just here to make sure the shit is right.
Box check. But you're absolutely right, to be honest. I feel like we talked about this, I think, last night. My first 3 weeks at Avanti, I called him, I said, I quit. Like, find someone else. I don't want to do this anymore. And he was just like, talk to me. What are you thinking? And I'm just like, no, I'm done. I have not experienced a leader who's just like, hey, okay, did you really have to call me for that? And I'm just like, okay, well, I got a little PTSD, so like, help me. Help me. A lot of people aren't used to their leadership giving them autonomy to just do and just be. I tell you all the time, I get to be because you allow me to be. You don't. I'm his most unhinged one, by the way.
No.
Wait. We might have a battle.
You and Ramondo, I don't know which direction this goes.
Ramondo is like outwardly unhinged, and I'm just like behind the scenes, like, Ricky, guess what I did? But I do. I think there's a lot of people that just don't get to experience a leader like you. And I'm gonna blow your head up a little bit bigger. Ricky is probably the most, by the way, he's my boss if we haven't put it all together. Ricky is the most incredible leader that I've had. And you'll get people that get to experience his leadership from the outside in, but like, just to fill you in on what it looks like internally, it is the most invigorating and powerful, impactful relationship that I have. And I say that not just because we've been friends for several years, but you were pouring into me even when I wanted to quit at the AAKC. I sent you a screenshot of a phone call that we took prior to me even working for you. And I said, hey, I blew up at the committee meeting today. And you were like, wait a minute, I'm going to call you. And we spent over an hour on the phone and you were just like, don't give up. Like, don't quit. We're going to find a different way. We're going to find a different way to like ensure that you're still on the pathway that you want to go. So when I look at some of these things, being a 3-time National Emerging Leader of the Year finalist, like it is because of people like you that we are able to continue to move the needle. We don't get a choice whether we want to move the needle. We have to. We have to, because there are so many people that, whether they know it or not, look at your senior regional director badge and say, like, I'm coming for that. Like, I want that. And a couple years ago, we were asked a question in a panel session that was like, when you go to work for these companies or you go to be involved in these organizations, like, how do you feel when your executive leadership or your C-suite leadership, when there's not representation of you? And to be quite honest, a couple years ago, I answered that question. I was like, oh, it doesn't bother me because I'm coming. Like, I can work 2 times harder. I can just put my grit, my grind, pedal to the metal, and I can get there. But now it's the most important thing to see people that look like me or just kind of have the same mannerisms that I do, the same characteristics, the same intentions that I do to be in these seats. So to be able to operate under an AAKC 2-time regional manager of the year, an Avanti regional director of the year, an AAKC management company of the year. I don't know. We went to this Avanti leadership conference and there's just a lot of Kansas and Missouri things happening. But I know that the achievements of the people under you specifically highlight how you maneuver and what you do. And you are the table. You no longer bring a seat to the table. We want to be at Ricky's table. So I'm thankful for you. I am so blessed to call you my friend and my leader. And like, if you don't know this man, he's at my hip for the rest of the day. And I'm more than happy to introduce you. But my hope for you is just success and a positive trajectory. And yeah, keep being who you are is the most important. Being who you are is the most important person that you'll be. So do you have anything else? Wait, let me ask you this. What advice are you giving to the person behind you?
For the ones that are like me, black, brown, who feel like it's impossible, I say, like, every time I interview for a company, I always check the website to see what representation they have that looks like me. And there's none. So I have to tell them people don't look like you, but you still have a voice. So what you do with that is your decision. We can fight against it or we can fight with it. And sometimes fighting against it isn't a bad thing.
That's me.
So make choices that are going to be great for you. Nobody can tell you your path. Nobody can tell you your direction. It is your opportunity or decision to make that for yourself. And how will you do that? Impact others. I wanted to be a leader. I'm going to continue to be a leader, but I want my leadership to impact others. I want people to remember that, they have a voice in whatever they do in this industry, but we got to do it together. We got to do it together. So as I'm pulling you all along, it's your job to continue to keep pulling people along with us as well. We'll make it to the top together as long as we keep working together and not against each other. So don't give up. Don't give up and keep working to what's best for you, because you can do it. You can do it. And it was a fight for me in the beginning. I'll keep saying that. It was a struggle and it was a fight. But I think the end is going to be so rewarding. I've got 6 years till I'm president of AAKC, and I'm going to keep fighting that fight. Shout out to Dana Brim back home at
She's
Home
incredible.
Apartments. Yes, I love working for people who make me feel like I have a voice. Shout out to Chris Garner with Avanti Residential. Like, these are people who make me feel like I have a belonging and I have a voice and I can do whatever it is in my mind that I want to do. And it's just been so rewarding for me in these moments. Me and Dana have the most intense conversations about what's going on at home at AAKC. But I feel like she hears me. And she's like, every end of the question is, how do I make it better?
Yeah.
People don't care about that. They only listen to respond. But her response is always, what do you need from me? How do I make it better? And I'm like, you gotta be kidding me. You wanna make it better? Like, you care about what I'm saying and what I'm talking about, and you wanna make a difference with me? Let's do this shit.
Yeah. It's so funny because I've had a conversation with Dana. I met with a group of individuals back home at the AAKC, and she was literally in tears. And after the meeting, she came up to me, she grabbed my hand, she gave me a hug, and she's just like, I'm committed to doing this. I'm committed to making these changes. And it takes one person. It takes one.
As a white woman, she is amazing. Like, she listens.
She heard it.
And that's what's important. And it's like, she has those tough conversations that you would think anybody else will push away from. I don't want to do that. I don't want to talk about that. But she's so in it. She's like, what do I need to do to make a difference so that you feel better in this situation? And I'm like, you care.
You care.
You care. And, we just want to feel heard.
Yeah.
We want to feel a part of whatever's going on. And so at times we don't. And so it has been an amazing journey for me. Struggles and all. It's been amazing. And so I would tell the individuals to just don't give up.
Yeah.
Whatever goals that you have in life and whatever success that you want in this, like, this is your opportunity and this is your moment to shine. So take it. Take it and shine.
Well, that is an incredible note to end on. Ricky, I thank you for your transparency, your vulnerability. I know it was, you had a little bit of anxiety leading up to this because I just would not let you know what we're going to do and talk about. But I just know that Melissa D. White tells it all the time, your audience is one person. People think it's plural and it's one person. And I know that if it's not a person standing outside this booth or it's not a person listening to this episode, it's somebody. And all it needs to be is one person in terms of your impact. So a huge thank you to everyone listening to this episode, everyone beating on the walls outside in this booth.
Hi, Marnie.
I'm so incredibly thankful for all of you and your support. More specifically yours.
Of course.
And collaborations at the top. So let's keep climbing.
Thank you so much for this opportunity. You guys check Unconventional Project out. Vanessa's got some amazing speakers coming along. So thank you all once again for joining us. Thank you for this opportunity. This week has been amazing because of you. And you have definitely introduced me into some people that I get to connect with and continue my growth because I'm coming for you, NAA.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
You made it. Thank you for joining us on this incredible journey. The Unconventional Project is the table I've always dreamed of, a place where the seats never run out, where we celebrate life's experiences, big and small, and where our hunger for knowledge is never satisfied. Today, I hope you feel empowered to embark on your personal path to success, embracing every aspect of who you are, what you've been through, and the growth that lies ahead. The most successful project you'll ever work on is the unconventional one, the project that is uniquely you.